The first Duolingo English Test speaking tip is to stop watching so many YouTube videos. I'm sorry, just this one. But yeah, you can watch some YouTube videos, but usually we watch videos because we're trying to avoid the hard work of actually practicing. And I know I'm sorry to give you the bad news, but you should spend about 10% of your time watching videos and about 90% of your time practicing. So you want to make sure that you're not just using videos like this that's helpful, but you want to make sure you're not using them to avoid practicing. Make sure you take the information you learned here or in another video and actually practice. And most of the time should be spent practicing. And that leads me to the second tip, which is the second biggest mistake I see most test takers make. I'll go to the biggest mistake at the end. This is the second most largest, biggest mistake. It is to not record your voice. So you want to make sure that you record your voice. I know you don't like the sound of your own voice. I don't like the sound of my own voice, believe it or not. The first time I heard it, I was very sad because I thought I had a very deep, masculine voice, and then I heard my voice and it was not like that. And so it's uncomfortable to hear, but it's necessary if you want to improve. Just think if you're a professional athlete or musician, you have to record yourself. You have to record yourself playing a song. You have to record yourself playing soccer. And you have to look back at the tape to see your strengths and weaknesses. And you have to do the same to record your voice. Now, who am I, this person making your life more difficult and punishing you to hear your own voice? My name is Teacher Josh from TST Prep, and if you make a free account at tstprep.com, you get not only hundreds of questions, but you also get to record your voice and get feedback on your speaking as well. So check that out. I'll put a link in the description, totally free account. So the third speaking Duolingo English Test is to actually use your recorded voice and grade it. I know this just keeps getting worse and worse, all these tips. The next part is to use a grading rubric to check your own speaking. Duolingo English Test, they do have grading criteria. They tell you that they grade you based on your grammar, your vocabulary, your fluency, and that's certainly helpful, but it's not so helpful to know what's going on with your speaking right now and how you can improve. So you want to use this checklist here. This is for read and speak questions. And you want to ask yourself these questions when you finish. You can pause the video and take a screenshot or copy and paste it. The part that are bulleted in red means that this will change a little bit if you do it for speak about the photo or speaking sample. But the parts in green you can use for any speaking question. And you can do this on your own. A lot of students will say, hey, I can't listen to my speaking because I don't know what to grade it on. I don't know if it's good or bad. I need a teacher for that. Well, no, you don't. You can just use this checklist. So one example, did I speak for 45 seconds? You don't need a teacher for that. You can do that on your own. I'm sorry to make it a little bit harder for you to avoid your voice, but you really need to embrace your own voice and check it. Now, you can also use technology, and that's the fourth speaking tip, is to leverage technology to give you feedback on your speaking. And again, I'm going to shout out TST Prep here because we can give you AI feedback on your speaking, and also we have teachers that give you feedback on your speaking, that old technology of talking to a teacher. But you can also use, one really basic one is your phone. You can use it to talk to Siri, or you can use Google Docs and do voice to text. You speak, and then it changes it to text. And you can check if the text matches your speech. If your speech doesn't match the text, then maybe your pronunciation needs some work in that situation. There are even more sophisticated tools. For example, Elsa Speech Analyzer. You can make a free account and get 30 minutes of free feedback on your speaking, and it'll tell you not just your transcript, it'll tell you a score for your pronunciation, your intonation, your fluency, or your vocabulary and grammar. There's so much information that you can use to help you improve your score. Now, this is not necessarily for the Duolingo English Test, but it will help in your speaking in general, and that will help your score. You want to take advantage of websites like this that give you feedback so you can pinpoint your strengths and weaknesses. That is so important. Now, you might be thinking, all right, this is, okay, this is good advice, but a lot of these things are not so much fun to listen to my voice and grade my own voice. Okay, now let's do a little bit of, let's play a little bit. Let's play with the test condition. So for example, for the read then speak, I believe you have 20 seconds to prepare. Next time, give yourself 10 seconds to prepare. You have to speak for 30 to 90 seconds. Try to speak for 2 minutes. Give yourself a challenge. If you're having trouble speaking for a long time, give yourself a lot of time to prepare. Give yourself 2 minutes to prepare. Don't write everything out. You don't want to write things out because you can't write anything on test day. So you don't want to get into that habit. But you can play with the timing a bit. Give yourself more time or less time. Speak for a bit longer or a bit shorter. This is going to help you be able to prepare for the test, because if you give yourself less time, if you prepare for less time, if you speak for longer, then the test will seem easy. Oh, I only have to speak for 90 seconds. I usually speak for 3 minutes. So that is a great way to build your confidence, is to play with the test conditions. Give yourself less time. Make it harder when you practice to give you confidence when you go in on test day. Now, the sixth tip is to get professional help from a teacher. Of course, we have them at tstprep.com, but you don't need to go to us. You can talk to any teacher. Now, you do have to pay for a teacher, but why is this helpful? Because they can give you personalized feedback on your strengths and weaknesses and tell you what you can do to improve. Of course, there's technology, which I talked about already, but sometimes a teacher can really use their experience to tell you what you can do to improve and give you a plan to help you improve. That leads me to the biggest mistake I see most test takers make, is that they don't practice with a plan. A lot of times when a student knows that they have to work on their speaking, they practice speaking every day, but they don't record their voice. I know you hate it. Don't review it. Don't have a goal before you start practicing. That's the biggest mistake, and that's the seventh tip, is to have a plan. You have to identify your weaknesses, and you want to do that to track your progress. You can do that with a teacher, or you can do that with a site like ELSA or TST Prep, where you speak and it gives you feedback. And you say, okay, I need help with my pronunciation. Now you might be thinking, what do I do? I know my weakness. What am I supposed to do about it? Check this out. This is a Duolingo English Test goals guide. Download it. I'll put a link in the description. It'll give you goals for pronunciation. It'll give you goals for the reading, for the speaking, for anything that you need. It'll give you example goals for you to follow to help you. So when you practice speaking, you say, okay, this is my goal. I'm going to practice with this goal. And then after I practice, I'm going to review. Did I achieve my goal? What were my strengths and weaknesses? Maybe I'll put it in ELSA and listen and then see what ELSA says, what score they give me. So use these tips. I hope you find them helpful. I really don't want you to fall into the same trap that most test takers fall into, where they just practice without a plan. But that's it. Those are the 7 tips. I hope you found that helpful. Hit subscribe. It would mean a lot to me, and it would help me make more of these. That's it. Good luck, test takers, and I'll see you next time.